Hello everyone, this is Mac at JLPTbootcamp.com, and today I'll be reviewing the N2 new Kanzen Master Grammar book, or Shin Kanzen Master Bunpo book in Japanese. And this is a new book that came out here in I guess it's the new year now. So back in 2011 it came out. And it replaces the old Kanzen Master Series that was made available for the pre-2010 JLPT tests. And just to give you kind of an update about this new series, the old series only had a grammar book. I think it had a kanji book and a katakana book, maybe. But the new Kanzen Master Series has grammar, kanji, reading comprehension, listening, and a vocabulary book. So 5 books total. These books in general are a lot thicker than the old version of them, and they're a little bit different from the other books that are available for the N2 test in that they're organized by chapters, not by days or weeks. And so you kind of have to set your own pace with them. Also, overall, the new Kanzen Master Series doesn't involve a lot of hand-holding. What I mean by that is there's no English, no Korean, no Chinese. The only language that is in the textbook is Japanese. And they're also a little sparse on explanations for answers. There are some explanations here and there for some of the problems, and some books are better than others, but in particular the grammar book doesn't have a lot of explanations for some of the more difficult questions. So they're best used with a tutor or a Japanese teacher, because you will probably need some explaining here and there for some of the more trickier questions. And basically, this textbook is essentially formatted into 3 different sections. It doesn't really, it's not really laid out that way in the table of contents per se, but there's essentially 3 sections of this book. The first section goes over the format of the grammar part of the exam, over all 3 sections, and basically what the test is going to test you over, what the test is looking for each of those types of questions. It also goes over it kind of introduces some common strategies in that part, but this first section is merely just to introduce you to what the final product's going to look like. It doesn't really go into too much depth. Once you get past that first section, there is the second section that goes over most of the main grammar points. This is divided into 26 chapters, and each chapter has about 4 to 6 grammar points in it that goes over the grammar point, the meaning in Japanese, and about 3 to 5 example sentences that use that particular grammar point. And usually the different example sentences use it with different conjugations in different formats, so you get a decent feel for what the grammar point is about. In this section covers the main grammar points that you'll see all throughout the test, in the reading sections, in the listening sections, and in the actual grammar section. The main grammar points. It doesn't go over all of them. It'll go over a few more of those in the different test strategy chapters towards the end of the book that I'll go over here in a little bit, but it goes over the main grammar points in this section, which is pretty cool. And for each grammar point, you get what they kind of label as linking info. they use a little chain to tell you how the grammar point links to other parts of speech. This is basically to tell you what endings can be used with the grammar point. Can it be used with a noun? Can it be used with a verb? What kind of tense or conjugation does the verb have to be in order to be used with the grammar point? It highlights all that stuff. And that will be on the test. Usually in the format of, does this grammar point need past tense, or does it need present tense, or does it need a particle like day or no to connect with the noun or with the what it needs to connect with? Those types of things are going to come up on the test, and it has a little section for that to explain what it can connect to. It also has this is something kind of unique to the new Kanzen Master Series, is it goes over nuances in great detail. Gives you a lot of explanations on when and how the grammar point is used. Is this grammar point, for example, used with an opinion? Is it used with a warning? Is it used with different types of the connotation of the phrases that it's used with, not just it's used with noun, it's used with a verb, but the connotation of the grammar and what type of situation does that particular grammar point fit into. In that, I think, is really unique to the new Kanzen Master Series. They don't really go into too much detail in the So-Matome series, which is another book that I've gone through, that I've reviewed, and so that's really valuable for the test, because that's exactly what they test you on. And then once you go through these kind of example sentences, basically the information of the chapter, there's questions for each chapter. How it breaks out is there's 3 to 5 questions for each grammar point. Again, there's about 4 to 6 grammar points per chapter, and then after you do the questions for each grammar point, there's 3 to 5 questions that go over all the grammar points that are covered. These questions are a little bit easier than what you would see on the test. They only have 3 choices instead of 4. It's meant to just help you learn the material, but they are pretty difficult. They're not going to test you on the meaning of the grammar. They're going to test you more on how to use that grammar point, which is exactly what the test does. So it's really on target. And these types of questions are similar to the first section of the grammar part of the JLPT. Then about every 5 chapters or so, there will be a review unit that goes over all the grammar points. And in these review units, it's basically a review test, I should say. All the questions have 4 answers, so it's like the actual test. It's like the first section of the grammar part of the JLPT for the test. And so you really get a feel for the grammar points and how they're going to appear on the test. The only downside of this is there are no explanations for the answers, which I feel is a major weak point of this book. There's no explanations for the answers, so you have to make sure you have a native speaker or someone that really knows the grammar really well that you can call on and ask questions to. Other than that, it does provide really good review and a really good way of learning the grammar and preparing you for the test, especially with the last section. The last section of this, I guess I should say the third section, covers test strategies. And this section has 3 chapters that go over each section of the test. each section of the grammar part of the test, because if you're not familiar, there's 3 sections for the grammar part of the test. The first part is choose the part that fits into the sentence. The second part, second section of the grammar part involves the scrambled sentence or the sentential questions. And then there's a third part that's called text grammar, and that basically tests your ability to use grammar in context in a paragraph, kind of in a reading format. And this is where this book is worth its weight in gold, because it contains, in this test strategy section, it contains cheat sheets for common grammar points that are used for those particular questions, and kind of briefly goes over the meaning for them, so that you can, right before the test, you can open this section, you can go through it, and review and go over the grammar points, and have a really good feeling, as you go into the test. And these questions in this test strategy section are incredibly hard. Some of them are kind of easy, but they are really good prep for the test, for the exam, for the JLPT. And then the final section involves 2 full mock tests that you can go through. They have the same number of questions, same level of difficulty as the real test. Unfortunately, again, there's no hand-holding. There's 0 explanations. So if you get something wrong, you're going to have to do the groundwork yourself and look up the grammar point and try to find out why you got it wrong. And like I said, I feel like that's kind of the weak point of this book. But if you do have a native speaker handy, if you can talk to someone, or of course you can ask questions on the web, or you have resources you can ask me questions, of course, then you can definitely make a lot of use of this book, and it'll definitely really prepare you for the book. And if you're thinking about how this compares to So-Matome, which is, again, another kind of a big name book for the N2 level. So-Matome is more for beginners. There's lots of hand-holding, there's lots of translations into English, and it's also divided into days, which helps you pace through it a lot faster. Whereas the new Kanzen Master is more suitable for advanced learners, you're really going to need a tutor or a teacher to help you walk through some of these questions, or have really good research skills to answer some of your questions. But I do feel like the new Kanzen Master is the same level as the test, whereas the So-Matome series is not. It's a lot easier than the actual test. So it's going to help you get started on prep, but not quite get you all the way there. If you're interested in picking up this book, you can do it. If you're outside of Japan, you can pick that up at White Rabbit Press at the following address: http://j.mp/WRP N2 Master Grammar. Or over there, if you're inside Japan, you can get a better deal at Amazon. Again, that's the address is j.mp/AZN N2 Master Grammar. Or you can pick these up at any major bookstore at any major metropolitan area in Japan. All right. I highly recommend it if you're studying for N2 exam to pick up this book and use it for your prep, because it will really prepare you and make you confident for the exam. But it's not for beginners. So, all right, that's it from me. This has been Mac from JLPTbootcamp.com. Come visit me over at the site and check out some resources and some exciting articles on how you can score higher on the JLPT test. Talk to you later.